Welcome to the video related to creating random but predictable traffic patterns using Mimic Simulator. This is useful for testing your network monitoring tools by making sure that it can handle high and low thresholds. When the network traffic crosses the thresholds, that might signal a problem with the interface, which could be a hostile attack such as a DDoS on your network. When such a condition occurs, you want the monitoring tool to provide an alert so you can take some action. In this video, we will illustrate how we can create such traffic patterns in Mimic as a means to test your network performance monitoring tool. Here you see some of the simulated devices in Mimic Simulator. To begin, let's look at the traffic pattern for the device at IP address 10504. This device is currently running and is being polled by a monitoring tool as indicated by the PDUs per second count at a value greater than 0. I am using a network management tool called SNMPc by CastleRock for this illustration. SNMPc is polling Mimic simulated devices and graphing the counters. This graph represents the IFN octets for each of the interface instances associated with the simulated device. You can see uniformly distributed values here. Basically, not much happening here with respect to input utilization. Now let's create an extreme case with random but predictable traffic patterns. I will do this by invoking Mimic's change simulation feature. Right mouse click onto the device at 10504 and select the change simulation feature. You see the entire MIB table here. Let's traverse the MIB tree and select the IFN octets object. You can see the current rate settings for each of the object instances by clicking on to the values button. Of course, these are the values we saw in the SNMPc graph. These are the rate settings for the basic simulation. We will change the simulation for IFN octets from basic to advanced. This will allow us to attach a script to any MIB object we want and have it change accordingly. I will pick the random rate and range simulation. This script periodically changes the rate of the object to a random value between the defined low and high range limits. There are many other scripts available to you to create various traffic patterns. You can see the description for each of them here. We can apply the script to certain instances, or use the keyword all and apply to all of the instances. Set the low and high range limit. We shall use 100 for the low, and we will use 100,000 for the high. You may want to set this to some percentage beyond the traffic threshold levels configured on your monitoring tool to assure an alarm trigger. Now, set the interval for the rate change. We will use the default value of 1 minute, which means every minute there will be a new rate value. Again, we will apply the simulation to the IFN octets object to only affect the input utilization. With the advanced simulation applied, the device will start changing the counter values based on the settings. Now let's go back to SNMPc and observe the traffic patterns. You see an immediate change. I will time-lapse this for brevity. You see, with every 60 seconds, we have a rate change. This random rate change affects each of the instances. Not only do we see the changing rates for the traffic patterns, as a result of increased bandwidth on the interfaces, you can see the utilization alarms that were triggered. Of course, you can restore the default basic simulation simply by selecting Basic, then clicking Apply. Back at SNMPc, you can see the original traffic pattern. I hope this demonstration provided you with some insight into the advanced simulation feature, how you can create a real-life scenario with the Mimic Simulator to test your network performance monitoring tool. Thanks for watching.